When you think about Pakistani politics, you just can't get away from the huge personalities that really drive everything. For decades, the entire political scene has been shaped by these powerful, influential figures. So let's dive right into the 10 leaders who, in very different ways, are still shaping the country's direction. So here's how we're going to break it all down. Before we go any further, if you haven't already liked this video or subscribed to our channel, Think Forward, make sure to do so now. It helps us bring you more insightful and informative topics like this in the future. First, we'll talk about the 3 main ways these leaders build influence. Then, we'll look at the ones who get their strength from popularity, the crowd pleasers. After that, the ones who are masters of power behind the scenes. And then, the leaders whose influence comes from their legacy. Finally, we'll tie it all together to see what kind of mark this leaves on the country. And this gets us to the big question, right? How is political influence really built in Pakistan? What's the secret sauce? Well, as we're about to see, there's no single answer. It's built in very different and often competing ways. To really get a handle on this, we can sort these leaders into 3 main buckets, or pillars. The source material puts it perfectly. Some lead through popularity, some through power, and some through legacy. These 3 pillars are going to be our roadmap as we go through each of these figures. Okay, let's jump into our first pillar, popularity. This is all about the leaders whose power comes straight from the people. We're talking charisma, a message that connects, and the incredible ability to get massive crowds to rally behind them. And you can't even begin to talk about popularity without talking about Imran Khan. As the founder of the PTI, he has this unbelievable base of support, especially with young people. To his fans, he is the ultimate symbol of change. To his critics, though, he's a deeply controversial figure. But here's the key thing. No matter what you think of him, his popularity is just off the charts. Now, on the other side of that popularity coin, you've got Nawaz Sharif. He's been prime minister 3 times. He's the head of the PMLN, and his influence is built on a long career in politics. He's famous for big infrastructure projects, and he has an absolutely rock-solid voter base, especially in the province of Punjab. And when you put these 2 rivals side by side, the contrast is just so stark. Khan's support is all about the youth and this populist call for a total system overhaul. Sharif's base, it's more traditional. It's rooted in his established party in Punjab, and it's built on a record of development. These are 2 completely different roads to popularity. And you can't talk about the PMLN without talking about Maryam Nawaz. She's really emerged as one of the most prominent female politicians in the country, a key face for the party. She's known for being a really powerful public speaker, and she has major influence over the party's supporters, carrying that family political legacy forward. And rounding out this group of popular leaders is Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. As the chairman of the PBP, and of course, the son of Benazir Bhutto, he's this interesting bridge between legacy and modern politics. He represents that younger generation. He clicks with progressive voters, and he's also pretty well known on the world stage for his diplomacy. Okay, so we've seen the leaders who can draw a huge crowd. But our second pillar, power, is a totally different game. These are the architects of the system, the political chess masters. Their influence isn't about giant rallies. It's all about strategic moves, building alliances, and mastering the art of the backroom deal. And look, maybe no one embodies this more than Asif Ali Zardari, a former president, the co-chairman of the PPP. He is widely seen as a master of political survival. His real strength is in building those crucial alliances and pulling off brilliant behind-the-scenes strategies. That's what gives him such tight control over the party machine. Then you have Shahbaz Sharif. His brand of power is built on a reputation for just getting things done, administrative discipline, and effective governance. I mean, he served multiple terms as Chief Minister of Punjab and as Prime Minister, and he's known for his focus on development and his super-fast decision-making. Maulana Fazlur Rahman plays with a really unique kind of power. As the head of the JUIF, this veteran religious and political leader has serious street power. He's a master of alliance politics, and in any kind of political crisis, he often becomes this absolutely crucial player because he can mobilize his followers in a way few others can. So this brings us to a really important role in politics, the kingmaker. What is that? Well, it's someone whose influence is so strategic, so pivotal, that they can literally decide who gets to form a government just by choosing which side to back. And that term, it perfectly describes Chaudhry Shujat Hussain. He is widely known as the ultimate kingmaker in Pakistani politics. He's respected for his political savvy and his incredible skill at building consensus. He often plays this quiet, silent role, but it's an incredibly strategic one that shapes major outcomes from just outside the spotlight. All right, let's move on to our third and final pillar, legacy. This is about leaders whose time in power might be over, but whose actions and policies cast such a long shadow that they continue to fuel debate and shape the politics of today. A perfect case in point is Pervez Musharraf, the former military ruler and president who came to power in a coup back in 1999 and then resigned almost a decade later. Even today, his era sparks these intense debates about governance, security, and reforms, making his legacy a huge and, very controversial part of Pakistan's story. And in a similar way, you have Altaf Hussain. As the founder of the MQM, he was once this completely dominant political force in urban Sindh. And now, even though he's in exile and surrounded by all sorts of controversies, he still has this powerful, emotional hold over certain groups of voters. His legacy, as complicated as it is, absolutely persists. So we've looked at all these different figures and the different ways they operate. Now, let's pull it all together. We've seen how influence comes from popularity, from power, and from legacy. So what does this all mean for Pakistan's political landscape? So here is a quick recap of everyone we've covered. In the popularity column, you've got your populists like Imran Khan, development guys like Nawaz Sharif, and the next-gen leaders like Mariam Nawaz and Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Under power, you have the master strategists like Asif Ali Zardari, the get-it-done administrators like Shahbaz Sharif, and the kingmakers like Chaudhry Shujat. And finally, under legacy, you have those historical figures like Pervez Musharraf, whose decisions still echo today. Each one has their own unique trait that defines them. You know, at the end of the day, this all brings us to one really crucial takeaway from the source material. Popularity can be a roller coaster, right? It can rise and fall. But real influence, whether it's from raw power, from legacy, or from a popularity that truly endures, that's what leaves a permanent mark on a country's history. And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. As Pakistan's political world keeps shifting and changing, which of these types of influence, the roar of the crowd, the quiet moves of the strategist, or the long shadow of the past, which one do you think will ultimately leave the most lasting mark on its future? Thank you for watching and listening till the end. If you found this discussion meaningful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Think Forward for more in-depth and informative stories in the future.